J him, Stretford, Paddock. That's Scotty. This is Paddock Live, which means you lot, yes, you lot, need to get involved in the comments and the chat. We were just discussing, weren't we?
Yes.
What do we do with our hands when we stood here?
Yeah.
Because it's a bit weird, innit? Because sometimes you want to adopt like the weatherman pose when there's someone on the screen, which is easy. But then there's this. This for me feels like we're sulking with each other.
Like power stance sort of thing.
Yeah, what is that?
Not talking to your body language.
Like, do you remember when like all the
Tories?
We can say Tories. We're allowed to. We were standing like that, legs apart, and they all did that thing. What was all that about?
I don't know.
It looked ridiculous.
To catch the breeze.
Yeah, because it wasn't like legs a little apart, like you're up for, you're ready for a scrap or whatever. It was like that, wasn't it? Which you lot probably can't
Vote
see.
for me.
Yeah. And what is this? What is this nonsense? Did none of them go, hang on a minute? No, I'm not doing that.
And how did that power stance work out for them?
Really well,
Yeah.
Really well, yeah, they've been doing well. Listen, first things first, obviously. Apologies, we're running late. I'm not going to blame Scotty because it's absolutely not his fault. We've had some gremlins in the machine, which is a euphemism for saying I was doing my hair. But it was worth the wait because we've got loads of stories to get through. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Is there something like missing from your life now? That we're not having the Sheikh Jassim to Jim Ratcliffe debate.
No.
Hey,
I'm quite happy that that's...
Is that like, do you know one of them ones, like when you've got a toothache or whatever, and it goes, and then you first wake up and then you go,
Yeah.
I remember when I had that toothache, oh yeah. Like, you almost like you miss it. Is there anything like that where you go, oh yeah, I miss those days when I was arguing with everyone about it, because there was no happy answer?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I don't miss them days.
Do you know what I mean?
At all.
Do you know what I love as well? People are still hanging on to the Sheikh Jassim thing.
Why?
Do you know what I mean? It's like your missus, right, has left you, married someone else, had a baby with them, and then died, and you're still chasing after her.
Running around the funeral like, come back.
Come back.
Come
we
back.
can still make it work.
It can work.
I love you.
Just let it go, Elsa. Honestly, let Sheikh Jassim go.
Like,
Sir Jim Ratcliffe is coming, man.
It's happening, like, whether you want it to or not, it is happening. So we'll get into all that. Also, Anthony Martial and Raphael Varane have been linked with moves away. We'll be talking about that. Plus, there could be more protests on the horizon. And we were linked with several strikers, right? We were linked with a few strikers, one of whom was 100 million, another one was 120 million, and one was 10 million. And I want you to work out which one he's looking like there.
The loan move.
Exactly. Yeah, not the 10 million one, that's out of our price range. We're getting Vote Vegos back, so we're going to talk about that as well. So make sure you join in the comments. What's the first story on the agenda? Producer Ethan, talk to me. Do you want to read this?
I will read this.
Is this a new font, this? Is this the usual font?
Nice, I like the colour scheme.
Is it new? Oh. Is this your handiwork?
It's now within our branding, so yeah.
Oh, right, so we've got a new font, which producer Ethan tells us.
Do you get a say-so in any of this? Is it just...
I pretend I do.
Right,
but do you know, like, when your kids say something to you, like, oh, I want to become a spaceman or whatever, and you go, yeah, of course you're going to be a spaceman. Okay, go back in your room and eat your soup. That's what I like with me, innit? Do you know what I mean? I'll say something and go, yeah, all right, Jay, yeah, we're going to do that. Go on, go back in your room and eat your soup. I'll be like, all right, okay.
And then you find out now.
Yeah, and then I find out when we're live on air that they've just ignored me.
It works, right,
yeah,
okay. So, Ratcliffe edges closer. The Ineos founder and British billionaire is expected to purchase a 25% stake at United and initially work alongside the Glazer family. Sir Jim is hoping to take up his new role shortly after the Luton Town game on Saturday afternoon. The 71-year-old previously went head-to-head with Sheikh Jassim, that'd be a fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In the bidding process. Ratcliffe's main focus for change was the club's questionable transfer business in recent years. This could include the big money shelled out on the likes of Jadon Sancho and Antony, whose United careers look in danger at best. And that's a quote from the MEN.
That was read with such enthusiasm.
BBC
I like the way
training, mate.
you accentuated the right words. It was a joy to behold. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, I'm not knocking my boy Joe Smith because I love him dearly, but you don't get that with him. Just point it out. If they had a fight, who would win? Because he's 71, but he's from Failsworth. He's from the ends.
Yeah.
Sheikh Jassim, he's younger, but he's had a pampered life.
He smokes a lot as well, apparently.
Who?
Sheikh Jassim.
Oh, does he? Who's your money on if them two went out?
I'm back in Failsworth.
Because apparently he's into like mountaineering and all that. He's a fit 71.
Yeah,
I reckon he can have a row. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think. Benjamin Hunt has been a member of the academy. Oh, sorry, the first team. Downgrading you there, bro. For 39 months. Says, was watching the podcast the other day. Was a great surprise to see you reading my tweet outlining all the decisions that have gone against us. Ah, that was you, Benjamin. Thank you. Yeah. Benjamin did a tweet where he listed all the decisions that have gone against us VAR-wise. And you know you say like the old adage, like, oh, it evens itself out, you win some, you lose some, or that other garbage. Well, it's been horrible for United this season with VAR. Ever since we got that decision, if you can call it, where Onana didn't give away the penalty against Wolves, we have been suffering for that one, including last night where I don't want to get into it because we'll be here all day. I don't know what that's. Yeah, with the setup here that we're looking at, him working alongside the Glazer family, how do you see that working? Do you see this as being the first step towards him taking over fully? And that's what he's got to do. He's got to play the game. Just talk me through what you make.
I mean, I've said all along when the sort of names were mentioned and that it came out that Ratcliffe was going to put a minority stake in, because I think that was the only option, because the Glazer families didn't seem to be in agreement that some of them wanted to sell, some of them thought that they weren't going to sell. But him coming in with 25%, on all accounts, I don't think he would come in and just want to do that. He is a Manchester United, Manchester born. He professes to be a Manchester United fan, although he has got a season ticket at Chelsea.
You know what I love about that as well? He went, I seen an interview when he was going for Chelsea. He's like, I was United fan as a boy, but then, I moved to London. I can't get down up to Old Trafford. Bro, you're a millionaire. You can get or billionaire. You can get a helicopter or the train or drive. It's not like you live in, South Africa. Like, it's quite easy to get from London to Manchester if you want, but who cares anyway?
Yeah, but so I see him coming in. It's top up 1.25 billion, isn't it? To come in, but he's also said that he's going to invest £300 million in the infrastructure of the club, which I don't think will touch the sides when it comes to fixing Carrington or the leak in Old Trafford.
Maybe one of the leaks in the roof. I mean, I said this on the other thing with Sky the other day, and I said, if this is a step towards a full takeover, which I agree with you, Scotty, I think it will be, and also real investment, because I don't think 325 million is what we need. We need more than that. But if that's the first stage, then I'm all for it. I'd rather us have 325 million than nothing. Yeah. But it needs to be a sort of, in the end, it's going to have to be closer to 1.52 billion.
Are you talking just based on the stadium and the training?
In fact, you're right, because I've not even thought about the team in that one. So
but the thing is, this is where it's
£500 million or something.
This is where it's interesting with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and I understand why everybody wanted Qatar, Sheikh Jassim to come in, because they saw how successful Man City have been, or the money that's been put into PSG when they've got like a state-owned club. Yeah. Now, that's something of a cheat code, and I understand that way of going about things, cheat code being the appropriate thing, 115. But we won't go down that road. But
are you talking about Man City? With the
yeah.
Have you
heard about that?
Yeah.
It's gone quiet though, hasn't it?
It has gone quiet,
We got charged very quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that it's all above board and it'll be dealt with.
But looking at this, Manchester United hasn't been a problem of spending money. Because if you look comparatively to Man City, we have spent a shitload of money over the years.
That's the problem, innit, bro?
The problem is management. Now, if he's coming in and he's getting hold of the club in terms of how we're spending the money, the people above who we hope will be Eric Ten Hag, and being in charge of the signings, that's a positive. We don't need that huge cash investment. No. Manchester United will always be the biggest club in the country and not far off around the world. I'm not too sure where we are in the rankings on that. So we will always generate an income. It's how that money's being spent. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people were saying, he's not done very well at Nice. Where are Nice in the league now? Top of the league. And so he's obviously doing things there. I think he comes in and it's a step towards him taking over. It also works in the Glazers family, which I'll annoy a lot of United fans. If he's a success, it means that the valuation of the club goes up. Yeah. So then in the end they make more money. So it's smart on their behalf. But him coming, hopefully, after the Luton game, it can only be a promising times off the pitch at least, and let's hope we can see some improvement on it.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it pans out. One thing's for certain, I've said this on the channel, you've said it when we've had you on as well, we'll hold the owners of Manchester United to account. We did it with the Glazers, we criticised them, held them to account, we wanted them gone. If he's coming in and he's going to be the new owner of Manchester United, I'm willing to give him a chance. I want to see what he's about, but we always want to see the best for Manchester United, and we haven't seen that under Glazers. Hopefully, we can see something better under Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And like you were saying there, the structure needs to improve because we have wasted so much money. Yes, Manchester City have spent a lot of money, but like you were saying, we've spent a lot of money as well. The problem is we've wasted a lot of money, and you can only have a look at our squad and our bench and see just how much we've wasted. And that is one criticism as well of Eric Ten Hag, is sometimes under him, the spending hasn't been great. And that's why you need someone who can rein in the manager a bit. When the manager goes, I want a player from the Dutch league who scored 8 goals last season, but he's going to cost €100 million. You go, no.
It's like sending your kid into a toy shop with
credit
card.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't need that.
Yeah, no, it's right, because it's Gary Neville said, if the kids, so he used that analogy, said if your kids keeps wanting something and you keep buying it, do you blame the kid or the parents?
Yeah.
So we need a proper structure in place where you can go, all right, we're not going to spend that much money on that player, but we've got a similar one who costs a bit less, especially with financial fair play. Get involved in the comments in the chat and let us know what you think. Sandy Cook says, Jay, I loved your video yesterday on Insta. More IG content from the Paddock boys. Yes, I think everyone tries to do our own thing, but I appreciate that, bro. I was rattled me last night, Scott. Honestly,
I was going to come down and give you a hug.
Honestly, I needed one because that was one that stayed with me now. Normally, I'll just shrug it off or I'll sulk for 10 minutes or whatever. And then if you've ever seen me do a video after the game or when I'm walking home, I'm usually quite philosophical, but now I was fuming at that one. It really did stick in my throat. Graham Sharkey says, need someone with a bedsheet outside Old Trafford saying, run the club like you mean it. That's a reference to the banner at Fulham, which said, play like you mean it. Hit that like button, please, people. Let's get to 400 likes. Tom H says, do you think Tanaka has been helped a bit by the performance yesterday, even though we lost?
I think so.
It's not a bad point now, you know.
Because anyone who's seen me on this channel, I tend to get a lot of abuse when what I think is honest criticism. I think yes, and I'll not bite my tongue for anyone. I thought yesterday was one of the best Manchester United performances this season, if not the best outside maybe the Carabao Cup game against Crystal Palace. First 30 minutes, we were, until Rashford got sent off, we were well on top, and I thought, this is going to be this could be a turning point for Ten Hag and Manchester United's season. The red card was farcical, as we can all agree, unless you named Robert Savage, but we won't go down that road. And even in the second half, we come out, we've got 10 men. We're still the better team. Yeah. If Copenhagen should have come out really and attacked us from the, they went on and won it regardless. But fatigue kicked in at the end, and there was silly mistakes. I'm a bit concerned about the substitutions. If I'm chasing a goal, I ain't taking Højlund off the mount.
I said this, and I didn't notice it, but I said, I don't get taken off Højlund. We was on a watch along. I was like, why has he took him off? He's an outlet, he's holding the ball up. And I've seen a few people in my group chat were saying Højlund was dead on his feet, he was done, he'd run himself into the ground. I didn't notice that. I'm not saying he wasn't. Yeah. I didn't notice that how goosty the kid was. So if that was the case, I understand it, but it was a bit, at the time, it struck me as a bit of a silly one because Mount doesn't offer you that outlet. He doesn't hold the ball up. He doesn't really do a lot.
Was Martial not even a better option at that stage, though? Do you know, he's a goal scorer. I'm not saying he's prolific, but...
The trouble I have with that is, right, I understand your point, because he's a striker.
A striker, isn't he?
You know when you've got 10 men and you're up against it, bringing on someone like Martial sometimes, it's like you're down to 9. Because of his lack of energy and effort. Sometimes, not all the time. It depends what Martial turns up. And if you get the one that's not really feeling it and he looks like he's a bit annoyed and he's not putting the graft in, you can't carry anyone when you're down to 10 men. So he's like, I don't know if that came anyway. But one thing's for certain, we need a striker in the summer. We'll get to that in a minute. In fact, what have we got now? We've got a pair we're interested in. Oh, hang on. What's this pun here? Right. Vanda, what a signing son.
Vonda,
what a signing son, because his name's Vanderson, yeah? Right, let us know what you think of producer Ethan's pun there. Scotty, talk us through this one. He looks about 12, by the way.
He does. He's got sort of Samuel Eto'o, sort of.
Do you reckon?
I think so, maybe.
He looks a little bit like... He looks a little bit like my lad.
I hope he plays better than
my lad? Wow. Are you sticking a knife in my 8-year-old son? I hope he plays better than your lad. Listen, my lad got started the week the other week, yeah?
That's his dad I was going for.
Wow.
His dad.
Tell you what. Let's read this saying. Ignore the fact you're trolling my only son. Ellis, if you're watching, lad, ignore Uncle Scotty.
I'll sort you out at Christmas.
Right, yeah, go on.
Right, United are interested in AS Monaco's first team pair, Vanderson and Yusuf Fofana. Ahead of Ratcliffe's arrival, it is hoped that the foundations for a new footballing structure will be put in place to help turn around their on-pitch fortunes in the long term. With former Monaco sporting director Paul Mitchell primed to take up a similar role at Old Trafford under Ratcliffe's leadership. Vanderson is seen by some within the game as being the best young right-back in Europe, and the Brazilian is also liked by Real Madrid. Fofana is also out of contract at the end of the season, though Monaco have indicated they will be using up a 1-year automatic extension, and that's from 90 minutes.
Just on that, so I don't know a lot about either of these players. Fofana, I think, is a midfielder. Obviously, the kid Vanderson is a right back. What do you think of the right back situation at the minute? Because Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's been getting some praise. I know there was obviously the pass to Onana wasn't great yesterday, but I think a lot of people seem to think Wan-Bissaka's all right, the low they're not feeling. What's your take on it, the right back situation at United, before we get into all this?
I agree. I think Deleu's a good squad player at best. I don't think he just should be starting. And if he can challenge Wan-Bissaka for that right spot, because whilst Wan-Bissaka's strengths are in defending, his weaknesses are going down the right hand side. But that might be hampered when you've got a player like Anthony along. So I don't know if we can see the best out of Wan-Bissaka when he's got a right winger in front of him that isn't productive at best. So I'm all for signing of a right back. It isn't the first position I go for, but this is Manchester United. We don't do things by logic.
Get involved in the comments in the chat. Let us know what you think about either of these players. Would you like to see Vanderson or Fofana come to Manchester United? I got pelters, right? Who's the kid that was at Leicester?
That's what I thought it was.
Wesley Fofana. Do you remember him? And we were linked with him for 80 million.
Striker, wasn't there?
No, that's David Fofana.
Oh, right.
Is it David Fofana, Ethan?
Yeah, Wesley Fofana's the centre half.
Yeah, Wesley Fofana. David Fofana's a striker. Wesley Fofana was at Leicester. He went to Chelsea. We were linked with him for 80 million, right? And I said, he's a decent player, but he's like made of glass. He's always injured. Man, I was getting trolled. The Leicester fans didn't like it.
Really?
Got clipped up, doing the rounds on the forums and all this. Like, Jim Ratcliffe, you don't know what you're on about, chatting rubbish, all the rest of it. And then, I'm not going to lie, so his performance against United kind of felt a little bit justified when he went to Chelsea. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, he went for a big move, didn't he?
He got 80 million quid to Chelsea. Yeah, had an absolute stinker against United. And I'm not reveling in the kid. He's got injured again. But yeah, that was my issue with him. He's made of glass. Hopefully, if we do get Youssef Fofana, he's a lot better. Sheet Game's been a member of the Academy for 18 months, or 15 months, says, love to see Scotty on the show. Love the Agony Uncle show as well. Up the Paddock. Yes, me and Scotty will be back tomorrow with Agony Uncles and alive as well. Get involved in a comment in the chat. Nick Quigley says Robbie Savage is better. Do you think Robbie Savage, someone pointed this out on Twitter, may have changed his approach to Manchester United? Now he's
me.
Lad. Was it you that said that?
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't realise.
Bang yesterday, yeah.
Was it something about like how Charlie's not there anymore? He's been a bit more anti-United.
I put a little bit of salt on it. I said it's good to see that Robbie Savage has let go of the fact that Manchester United sold his son and has remained impartial in his commentary throughout the game.
Right.
Because that was pathetic.
Yeah, it was.
Every decision. That was definitely a red card. Definitely a penalty.
If Jamie Carragher says it's not a red card, then it ain't a red card. He's not lying. He's not got an agenda where he's trying to help Manchester United or he's trying to be mates with United fans. You know what I mean? He hates United and rightly so. He used to play for Liverpool. So let's have it right. Yeah, I thought Robbie Savage really let him down. And the thing is as well, I don't mind Robbie Savage usually, but I thought he was terrible yesterday. We don't know a lot about these players. We'll wait and see. It sounds like Paul Mitchell is going to be the sporting director, so we keep hearing that.
What do you make of that?
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's long overdue. I don't know what John Murtaugh's official sort of role is. I know he's like, I think he's director of football or whatever. But I don't know how hands-on he is with transfers. There's saying that he's influential in transfers and he has a say in it and all the rest of it. But I'm proper underwhelmed by him.
Yeah.
And there's this idea that, since he's come in and Woodward's gone, it's all been better. I haven't seen any evidence of that.
No.
I think United pay what the selling club wants us to pay.
Well, Anthony and Mount are the perfect example.
I think every single one.
Remember
you name me a transfer, well, we haven't paid what the selling club really wanted recently.
No, it's true. I mean, if you look at the Chelsea thing with Mason Mount, it's like
9 months left on his contract.
Yeah, and he went and Chelsea said, well, we're not selling for 45 million. He goes, right, we'll go at 60. Right, with Chelsea, we're not going to sell him for 50. And then we just kept going up.
Inter for Onana was the same.
Yeah.
Like, the only sort of where they go, we want 65, and you go, 65?
Yeah.
You're having a laugh. You can have 60, you can have 5 later.
The problem with that is,
then, that's still 65.
Do you think that's because Manchester United, under sort of Woodward, have set a precedence of paying over the odds? So everyone knows around Europe that they're quite happy they'll eventually take the pants down for whatever money you owe. So with that in mind, do you think that it might have to be a summer of Ratcliffe saying, well, we're not paying that? Like City used to have it for a while until they started buying the likes of Grealish and so.
No, they did have they bought a lot of 30 to 40 million pound players,
didn't they? Over 40, 50 million.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
Like the odd one or two.
And you need to set that precedence because otherwise people will say, well, we're not selling. It's August 31st. We know you want him. Give us the money. Thank you.
No, that's a really good point. I think we do. And it's not going to be easy to take that.
No.
Because a new sort of owner or part owner comes in, a new football structure, you want to see big, shiny, new big signings.
Well, do you?
And he goes, a little bit, yeah, because I love transfers, mate.
No, I love transfer, but they've been very underwhelming regard. No. The names have been great, but the performances haven't matched up. If you look at the likes of Liverpool and the way they've gone about buying players, because I think that we can't compare ourselves to the likes of Man City in terms of how we spend our money, but Liverpool are probably more of a sort of on par with the sort of structure. Now, they identify players that can play alongside each other. They identify the ability and how they'll fit in, like, you know, Mane, Firmino and Salah. Do you know what I mean? Nobody was saying they were world beaters. Put them all together.
Salah, I think, was a club scouted signing. They said to Klopp, we've got a player for you, rather than him going, go and get me Mo
That's
Salah.
what I mean. And they've
right.
got all that sort of money ball theory, haven't they, at Liverpool? And that's what Manchester United do. I don't care for going out and buying the best car or whatever. As long as it works with everything else on the pitch. There's too many anomalies at Manchester United.
No, I agree with that. And I think if you look at Liverpool, they do spend money. But when they go big,
it's big money.
When they go
Van
big,
Dijk, as much as I love to ridicule him,
they knew he was the missing piece.
Goalkeeper.
Really. Alisson Becker, obviously Loris Karius weren't up to the job. Right, we need a keeper who's, arguably probably the second best in the world. So they went and got him. So it does work.
The price justifies it.
Yeah, no, it does. And it's, even recently, a lot of their business, I think they overpaid for Nunes, but other players, you can look at McAllister with his buyout clause. It makes sense, doesn't it? Even someone like Ibrahim Kanate, I thought he was a decent signing for him. So it annoys me that they get it right, the Scousers, because you don't want to see that. No one likes to see that. Get involved in the comments and the chat and let us know what you think about these players, what you think about the new structure that could be coming into Manchester United. Are you excited? Do you think this is what we need to see? Do you think this is going to be the way forward? Should we talk about an outgoing? I think we've got another one here. It could be. Yes. Go on. What's the pun here?
Varane.
Nice. I like that. Do you know what I mean? VAR and decision. Sell.
I'd have gone Raphael Sell. Varane.
What?
Raphael. Varane decision.
You've done well there. You've made Ethan look
United could be set to sell Raphael Varane to a club. It's hard that I do this for a living. To a club in the Saudi Pro League in this January's window. United will be ready to consider the right offer for Varane, who is attracting interest from the PIF group, also known as PIF, of Saudi clubs, meaning he could end up at any one of Al Ahly, Al Hilal, Al Nasser, or Al Ittihad, depending on who needs him most. Goncalo Inacio, Antonio Silva, Edmund Tapsoba, and Mark.
That's the kid from Palace, innit? I always struggle with his name.
Well, help me out.
No, is it Gui? How do you say it? What? Guy? Gehi. Yeah, I always struggle with that, but he's min. I love him.
Right, I'm on the names on the club's list of targets in that area of the pitch. Though the preferred option at the top of their list is Nice defender Jean-Claire Todibo, and that was from Court Offside. Thank you for giving me that before we went live, producer Ethan, with all them names that I've read before live on
Mate,
YouTube.
you did a much better job than I could have done on it. It's interesting, because part of me just feels like Sir Jim Ratcliffe can just ring up Jean-Claire and go, you're playing for United now.
Yes.
And if you don't like it, tough, because I own Nice and I've sold you.
Just walks in potty bags.
Yeah, you don't play here anymore, son. You don't need that kit. You're not going to be wearing that again. But obviously, I'm guessing that's not allowed. I want to talk to you about Varane, because it's a weird one, isn't it?
Is it?
He's mint. He is. And I won't have it any other way. He is one of the best defenders in the world when he's fully fit. The issue is he gets injured a lot.
Yeah.
He has this sort of cycle of he'll play 1 or 2, 3 games, 4 games even, then something happens, then he's out for a couple of games or 1. It's very, very difficult to get that consistency of a centre-back partnership with him in it because of the amount of injuries he gets. I know we had it for a big chunk of last season with him and Martinez, and that was phenomenal, and they complemented each other perfectly, and we saw the best of Raphael Varane, much better than his first season at the club. This season, though, he hasn't really got going, and it looks like Eric Ten Hag now he's going, because you're always in and out of the team in terms of your fitness, I'm going to try Evans and Maguire as my centre-back partnership, which has ruffled a few feathers, to say the least.
Well, it's quite damning that, though, isn't it? Like Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans, who made his Champions League debut 16 years ago, is starting ahead of Rafael Varane. Listen, I completely agree with you. You know, Champions League Varane. I was buzzing when we signed him from Real Madrid. Obviously, there was question marks. Why on earth would Real Madrid sell Varane to Manchester United? And obviously, the wages probably would have helped that with him coming to Old Trafford. But yeah, great player. He's just far too injury prone. I'm not surprised in the slightest that he's going to Saudi. I thought it might be in the summer, given how weak we are at the back with defenders, because I'm not too sure if we can go out and buy anyone in January. I don't know if this Ratcliffe coming in means we've got money to spend, or does that go against sort of the
financial fair play?
So I'm not too sure if it'd be wise on Manchester United's behalf to sell him. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I think Casemiro. Next summer, if you think we've got a weak squad this year, or him, Casemiro, I think Eriksen will go. Martial. We'll probably not giving Martial a new contract. Lindelof's on his last year. Maguire could go. You know, there's a lot of players that could be leaving in the summer, so it's going to take a big investment, or like I said, going out and scouting. But in terms of Varane, I think he was just another one of those that we file alongside Bastian Schweinsteiger, and he was a great player that we got too late in his career.
Do you know what? I think I'm fearful that you might be right, to be honest with you, bro, because like you say, the fact that Johnny Evans is getting in ahead of him now, or Johnny Evans or Maguire for that matter, I know it's not like set in stone, because this is only what's happening at this moment in time. And it might be if he stays fit, then he gets back in the team and that's him for the rest of the season. But it is quite damning, because you think if he's available, he's in the team.
Yeah.
And he's been available and he's not been in the team. He only got on the pitch the other day because Johnny Evans got injured. We don't know how long Johnny Evans is out for, so he might be out for a few weeks. Rafael Varane comes back in and he keeps his place. But I think it shows you just what's going on and how sort of almost how far he's fallen a little bit.
Yeah.
In the sense that, like you're saying, a player like Johnny Evans, who everyone was surprised when he got a contract. No disrespect to him. He's 35 years old. He's just come from Leicester, who'd been relegated. People thought he's just going to come in for the friendlies. Then he gets a 12-month contract. And before you know it, he's keeping out Varane, who did have a very good season last season, let's not forget. So let's not pretend he didn't. Much better than the first season he had at Manchester United. But it does feel a little bit like the end game. We know that Saudi wanted him in the summer. He obviously didn't go there. If they were to come back in, it might be one of them when it suits everyone. I mean, I don't know. He might not want to go.
I think he'd want to go.
Do you reckon?
If you look at it this way, what's Varane's ambition? If he's having trouble due to his injuries getting into the team with Maguire and Evans, if you're confident and just as a man, and I'm not taking anything away from Maguire or Evans, but given what he's achieved in football and the sort of, can we say, a trajectory that Manchester United are on, a slow trajectory, what more does he want outside of a salary at Manchester United? And let's not be coy, the salary that is at Manchester United, he'll get at any club in Saudi. He's come, he's tried, he's got a Carabao Cup medal, which will be hung well above them Champions League
and the World Cup medal. He's probably moved the World Cup winners medal off the mantelpiece and put his Carabao one there.
Yeah, I would.
And he's gone, get rid of that World Cup and the Champions League. You can, in fact, just bin him. Put the Carabao one there. In fact, move the picture of the kids out of the way as well. Put the Carabao Cup medal there. That's pride of place. Yeah. And that picture of me and Martinez can go where the family pick is as well. The only thing I will say to you, I get everything you've just said. Varane seems to me to be someone, out of all the players, who thrives off the crowd, who loves that crowd, who's always giving it all this.
Yeah.
And at the end, he does his lap of honour. You're playing in front of one man and his dog in Saudi. That some players care about that. For some players, that matters. It doesn't matter for Jordan Henderson. It doesn't matter for, N'Golo Kante and whoever else has gone over there. And like you say, who's the other, Eduardo Mendy and a few others who've gone like, no, I'm not asked. He might care about that because Rochdale get bigger crowds than Al Ittihad or Al Nassr. No disrespect to them clubs, but I think is it 650 at Gerrard's last game. That might matter to him. He might not be asked because he's like, I'll buy fans. I don't care. I've got that much money. Or he might think, nah, man, I'm not doing it because another thing that sort of stays in my memory a little bit with, or sticks in my mind a little bit with Varane, he did retire from international football. And I just wonder if there's still a bit of him that thinks, I've got something to offer to a club. Do you know what I mean?
I hope so, because he has got a talent, but you do look at the injuries and you do, they are counting up, and that will take a toll on his ability as a player as well.
No, I hear you. I just think in his head, is he thinking, I'm 30, I'm at a big club, I've still got something to offer, and I want to play in front of 75,000 fans every week.
I might have a little inkling into what he's actually going to do. Just
Go on.
remembered now.
I wanna hear it.
Okay, so my brother is a plasterer, and he was actually at Varane's gaff 2 weeks ago, plastering his gaff.
Yeah.
So would he even bother doing that if he wasn't going to stay in
That is
Manchester?
great That's the first bit of ITK knowledge we've ever had on this channel.
That's true, honestly.
No, I believe you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He phoned me, he goes like, guess where I am? Varane's gaff.
So, but here's the question.
Yeah.
Was he plastering it with a view to selling?
Oh, and you know what? He said when Cameron was driving now, he said, I think I saw Dion Dublin driving him.
Right. Stairs up to the bathrooms.
Yeah, so.
Oh, mate. Stairs up to the bedrooms, isn't it? What's he saying?
Yeah, that's right.
What?
Stairs up to the bedroom.
Stairs up to the bedrooms, that's what he says, isn't it? Oh, we need to know.
Yeah.
I think Ronnie knows. Ronaldo Brown knows Dion Dublin. We'll get him to ask him. We can work this one out. So it's interesting. What he might have done, right? Raphael Varane.
Yeah.
And this sounds like this is a contender for the craziest sentence I've ever said in my life, right? You've known me for a long time, but I want you to bear with me, right? And before the men in white coats arrive to take me away, Raphael Varane, 4 times Champions League winner and World Cup winning player, Raphael Varane, might have looked at Harry Maguire and gone, I need to follow his example. Ooh. Because Harry Maguire was the forgotten man. He was 5th choice, he was done. Everyone was going, pack your bags, go to West Ham, we'll take a loss on you, we don't want you here, go.
Yeah.
And he went, nah mate, I'm staying. And now he's front and centre of that defence. So he might think, look, I might not be getting in the team now, but if he can do this, I can do it, I can get back in. It can happen to anyone.
Right, okay. Yeah, but Harry Maguire got him through Varane being injured.
And now Evans is out of the way. It's a merry-go-round, bro.
Right,
it happens constantly.
Every dark cloud.
Exactly.
You know?
Do you know what I mean?
Every broken defender
exactly.
is an opportunity.
And the good thing about United, there's always an injury there.
There is, yeah.
You can be anyone. Just give it another week, and someone in front of you will get injured. It doesn't matter.
I love this.
Yeah.
Sunshine thinking. We need more of it.
Yeah, this is
let's
it.
look at the positivity.
Look at Sergio.
We got beat by Copenhagen, you know.
Sergio Reguilon was sat at home, right? He couldn't even get on Spurs' bench. And then he got a phone call. Next thing, he's starting for United because of the injury crisis.
We make dreams come true.
We do make dreams come true, right? So, you never know. You might be playing for United soon. Yes, you. Get involved in the comments in the chat and let us know what you think about Raphael Varane, what you think about anything else. Producer Ethan, what's the next one on the agenda? Go on. Right. Scotty, talk us through this.
Where's the pun?
Taremi targeted.
Unbelievable.
Hang on a minute. What can we do with Taremi? What's
his first name?
Is it Mehdi Taremi.
United ready for Mehdi?
Yeah.
Mehdi bid. I'm terrible at this. Heads up, lads.
Yeah.
Right, let's go. United are exploring the sign of FC Porto striker Mehdi Taremi in January. United are claimed to be weighing up a £10 million bid for Taremi, which would involve offering of course, he's 31-year-old, a 3.9 million annual salary. Ten Hag considers Taremi a good fit, despite his recent struggles for goals at Porto. Scoring just 3 times in 15 appearances this season. He definitely sounds like some United side. But the Iran international has enjoyed a successful career at Porto, registering 83 goals and 52 assists in 162 appearances. He's also scored 39 times in 72 caps for Iran. That was from the Express. Definitely sounds like a Manchester United January signing.
It's horrible, isn't it? No disrespect to him. No disrespect to this kid. But
he's not a kid.
You know what, he's not. He looks a lot older than me. You know he's not. He's 12 years younger than me. But like, how many times have we got to go through the Edinson Cavani's, the Odi Nagalos, the Mehdi Taremi's, the Volt Weghorst? I know he wasn't old, but he wasn't scoring goals. Before we think, let's get a player that's going to be around here longer than a year and a half. Yes, he scored loads of times for Iran, and he's had a successful career, but so has bloody, Dion Dublin, but we're not going to re-sign him, but you never know with this club. Like, he scored 3 times in 15 appearances this season. I'm guessing
in the Portuguese league,
he ain't going to come and bang him in the Premier League. Now, last season, in all comps, he scored 31 goals. Fantastic. The trouble is, this season, he's fallen off a bit of a cliff. And that might be it for him. He might be on that downward trajectory. Yeah. And if he is on that downward trajectory, coming to United ain't going to pick him back up.
No, why would Porter want to sell him if he's any good?
It stinks of a United signing.
This here, the £10 million, the 31-year-old, and they're going to offer him nearly $4 million a year.
I worry we're going to be in the same scenario where our options at United post-January are going to be Anthony Martial, who's made of glass and looks like he'd rather be anywhere other than at Manchester United. Marcus Rashford, who can't really play down the middle and the goals have dried up for him this season. 20-year-old Rasmus Højlund, who's getting run into the ground, and also he's, in the Premier League hasn't been scoring, obviously been banging him in the Champions League, a great young player, but you can't rely on him week in, week out for every single game. He needs help. Or a 31-year-old from the Portuguese league whose form's deserted him. Like, they're all flawed.
Yeah.
Other than Rasmus Højlund, every one of them you're going, that's not great, is it? That's not really working. I don't know about that one. So yeah, this one, listen, if we sign him, I'll get behind him. I got behind Igalo, I got behind Cavani, I got behind, obviously Ronnie. Every player we've signed, I will get behind, even if I think why we signed him. But we have to be realistic. Does Mehdi Taremi get in Spurs' team, in Arsenal's team, in Newcastle's team? Ethan, does he get in Newcastle's team? No. No, they got rid of Chris Wood. He's at that sort of level, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's third choice for you? Yeah. Right, well, there you go, behind Isak and Wilson. He doesn't get near City's team and Liverpool's team, but if you're looking at the teams that we're going to compete with the top four, the Newcastles, the Arsenals, the Spurs.
Yeah, he's not getting any.
No, and I just feel like I want a player that gives the opposition something to think about when he comes on. It's like, oh, mate, what? Remember back in the day where it was like, you're marking Andy Cole, he goes off, and all he comes on, you think, Jesus Christ, this day's getting worse. Or you've got, you're marking Teddy Sheringham, he goes off, and York comes on, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or it's like, we'll bring on, I know he didn't bang in loads of goals, but it could be useful, Forlan, or just someone who could. Yeah, you know what I mean? Now it's like, we're going to take off Rasmus Højlund, and we're going to bring on a 31-year-old who scored 3 goals in the Portuguese league this season. Sweet.
He's just trying to fill a spot just by anybody, really, isn't it? Just for the sake of, Ten Hag said he needs a striker, so this is the only one that we can afford, or scout. I'm not having it that there isn't anybody else that's better or younger. If you're taking a punt and you're spending £10 million, I'd rather look, I don't know, at the lower clubs in the Premier League or around Europe for an up-and-coming striker at 10 million to take a punt on him, because at least then you've got even the sort of the energy of youth to try and impress, because if maybe I can get a longer career at Manchester United. He's coming towards the end of his career. What's his ambition? Don't work out. He walks home with $4 million.
This would be a great move for him, because he's probably thinking, my career's winding down a little bit, or I don't know.
Can you imagine if he's at home and his agent's just phoning like, listen, Mehdi, I've got Manchester United, an interest in signing you, and he's going like that. Are you drunk again?
Yeah. Signing me for what?
What?
To do what? To play for him. Yeah, I'm on my way. It's mad, innit? Because when we had this story a few weeks ago, the story was United have been linked with 3 strikers. Ivan Toney for 100 million, Victor Osimhen for 120 million, or Mehdi Taremi for 3.9 million a year. No prizes for guessing which we've ended up with. Because it's like, well, they're not going to spend all that money on Ivan Toney. They're not going to spend that money on Victor Osimhen. They're going to go for this. But I'm with you. I think you could go. And I'm not a scout, and I'm not going to pretend that I know loads about the South American football. There's young players maybe in South America. There might be a young player coming through the ranks in the Championship where you can go, you know what, we could get him, or abroad or Scandinavia, wherever. You could go out there and get an up-and-coming young striker.
Out of them as well.
Yeah, who could come and do a job. Or there might be someone who's not getting into a team in Europe, I don't know, or even in the Premier League, there might be a player who's like a striker who's decent, not getting a game, and you go, actually, we'd have him here. Like last season where Chelsea brought in Felix. Yeah. I know he didn't set the world alight, but I understand that signing, because he's a good attacking option who can do a job. And I remember watching him for Chelsea. He didn't score loads of goals, but he was useful.
Bag did a great one against us, didn't he?
Yeah, like there's like someone like that where you go, okay, you know what, Atletico don't want him anymore, or they want to get some money for him for the season. He could do a job for us. That can happen, that can work. This kid, it just feels like it's just, let's just get anyone.
But this is the problem, isn't it? I mean, this is one of the many problems of Manchester United, and is a conundrum that I've tried to solve post-Ferguson, is what exactly are Manchester United scouts doing? If this is your budget and this is what you're coming out with.
Do you know what? Benjamin Hunt has nailed it. Jay, I pray you're right. I think it's Welbeck time. God, God, that would solve all our problems.
I'd take Welbeck back ahead
I'd have took Welbeck last season. If we'd have got Welbeck last season, we'd have won the FA Cup. There's no evidence to support that. It's just the theory that I've got. But I have taken a lot of drugs over the years. Matt says, tell you he's taking a lot of drugs. Matt says Danny Ings, ? No. Danny Ings, you having that one?
Ahead of him? He's played in the Premier League.
I'd have you ahead of him. No disrespect, in fact, no, I wouldn't.
What? Better than your son.
After what you're about to say, that's what I was going to say, after what you said about my lad. Listen, I don't want to knock this guy, because listen, he might not even be on a downward trajectory, he might just not be having a great season, but come on, we should be aiming a bit higher than players we've not really heard of. Talking of players that are surplus to requirements, we're talking about strikers.
Oh, that's a good one.
A new San Hero.
San Siro.
Yeah, I get it. Go on.
A new San Hero. Inter Milan are reportedly looking into a possible swoop for Anthony Martial. There is proposed interest from the San Siro as Inter consider signing Martial during the January transfer window. A fee around the £12 million mark has been mooted for the 27-year-old, and United could be open to offloading him. An initial loan deal could be agreed to help Inter cover the signing. In the last 3 years, Martial has scored only 15 goals in all competitions between Manchester United and Seville, where he endured a 6-month loan period without success.
And he scored 1 goal, I think, in the Europa.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you then. At Sevilla, yeah, that was, I mean, it was pretty woeful.
Hasn't he always got something like 89 goals in the sort of 8 seasons he's been here?
Yeah,
like
it does.
It's
not. He had that purple patch, didn't he, under Ole, where he got 23 goals in a season. Other than that, his average was like 15, 16 goals a season. And then the last 3 years, he's fallen off a cliff. Injuries have ravaged him. He had that year off where he went to Sevilla. I think Lopetegui criticised him after like 2 games, said he's no good.
And then we kept him.
We kept him back for another 2 years. He needs to move on.
Yeah.
It's not happening for him. We see it in fits and starts. You can't rely on him. If they want him, if he can get a move to winner, more power to them. Also, on an aside, it says here, Manchester Evening News reported the asking price to be 36 million on their blog. Well, that entire newspaper's blog.
I saw that, because when I see a 12 mil there, I thought, I'm sure it was more in the...
36 million?
Yeah, maybe they're getting free Martials.
Like, what planet are we living on?
Do you actually believe this, though? Because I'm not having it. Inter Milan, who were, Champions League finalists last year, are interested in Anthony Martial. He's the sort of player that wouldn't be able to find a club on a golf course for me.
No, nice joke and pun, but I think they could be. I think Alexis Sanchez was done, went to Inter.
He's just gone back again.
Ashley Young wasn't exactly flavour of the month, went to Inter. Even Romelu Lukaku to a lesser degree, I know he could score goals, but it wasn't working out for him at United. Point. And he went there, was flying. They might look at him and go, look, if we keep him fit, he comes to Italy, he'll score goals.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to be paying 36 million.
What do you think about this? The initial loan deal, which again doesn't help Manchester United.
Trouble when you loan him to someone.
Yeah.
Like you did with Sevilla. They look at him
and say no.
He don't do anything.
Yeah,
go, no, you're all right. We don't want him. Like if he goes on a loan move and smashes it, great. But I don't know if he will. He's only 27, man. It's
that's
crazy,
not 12. How long have we had him for 8 years? What did we sign?
2015.
36 mil was it?
Yeah, up to 50, but we never reached that because he didn't meet the add-ons.
Is 12 mil decent sell-on value for 8 years?
The thing is, you pay that 36 mil pays for the time he's here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we've had 8 years out of him. So in theory, it's value for money because you've had a lot of years out of him. The trouble is, since 2019, 2020, whenever it was under Ole, 21 maybe, he's not done anything. No. And I think now it's time to cut our losses. Just one final story before we go. There is another protest planned this weekend ahead of the Luton game, the 1958. We've been protesting against the Glazers. You've seen all the protests both online and at the ground. They've got another one planned ahead of the Luton game. If you go and check out them on the socials, 958, you can have a look at that. Their message is loud and clear. They want the Glazers gone. Even with Ratcliffe coming in, it still looks like the Glazers are going to stay, so they're protesting, so you can get involved if you go and check out their Twitter. Scotty, where can people find you?
On Scotty Motty. Can you put a link in for us?
The only link I've got is, I'll put a link in there.
Me and Jay also do another podcast YouTube channel where we talk football and agony uncles, where people give us their problems and we tell them how to deal with them in the worst possible way. So we'll be doing that again tomorrow, but love doing this, man.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, man.
Late night talk.
Even though you insulted my son's football ability.
I told you, honest criticism is just...
It's Tough love in our craft. Right, Scotty, always a pleasure. Producer Ethan, well done on your puns, bro. I think you did really well tonight. Alexia will be proud of you. We'll be back in the morning. It'll be, I don't know, it'll be either me or Joe on the news tomorrow. Plus, we'll have the brew. We've got the preview as well for the Luton games. Go and check out Scotty and Motty with me and him. Go and check out all the other videos we've got on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This has been Paddock Live. Thanks for watching.